Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting the ring on our finger.
Yeah. Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is, Jesus, what is today?
August 13th.
August 13th.
Oh, 30 days till kickoff.
2020. 31 days to kick off.
It is?
Yeah, according to my calculations.
Okay.
You know,
okay. Oh, you do have it up at least.
You know me and math, man. We just
I
never
know.
go wrong. Ever.
It's hard. Oh my gosh. 31 days.
31 days.
And it does feel like it's really going to happen. It's getting real.
Feels like it's right around the corner. I saw a thing saying that there was a Hard Knocks show on.
What?
I know. Did we miss it?
I guess we
On
did.
HBO or something? I don't know. We need to look into
It's
that.
going to be a weird one. There were two teams, right? Wasn't it the Rams and San Diego, I think? I mean,
That is
not
so-
San Diego.
We are so out of touch, man.
I know.
We
This
have
is the first time in forever we've ever done this.
I know. Well, it's been a screwed up year, to say the least.
I don't know. We were kind of like this when Lovey came in.
Yeah.
We were a little despondent.
Not this bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Got an interesting show for you tonight. We got
a lot to catch up on. It's been so long since we did one.
We have a lot to catch up on, too. We're going to talk about the preseason practices that are going on.
Training camp. That's
Training
what we normally
camp,
call
that's
that. That's how out of touch you are.
What did I say? Preseason training camp?
Preseason something. Anyway,
Same
close
thing.
enough. I knew what you meant.
Everybody knows what I meant.
I speak Ralph.
You also speak wife, and you have to correct me at every chance you get.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's see. We've got, we'll talk some COVID news, of course. Can't go anywhere, anytime without talking about COVID. So we got that up in our football business. We've got some Demar Dotson news.
Demar.
I know. Poor Demar.
I mean, not poor Demar, poor Buccaneers.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're going to be talking a little bit about Tom Brady.
We got some news about the home opener.
Akeem Spence is on our radar again.
Who?
We might touch a little bit on the Washington football team. Some news going on there. Some opting out. We actually had a player opt out. We'll touch on that.
We did. We made some roster moves.
Got some XFL stuff coming at you. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Okay.
He's going to be up in our podcast. Not on an interview, of course.
Aw.
I mean, that'd be nice, but maybe a little bit nicer for some. But anyhow, got a big show for you tonight. First things first, fact checks and follow-ups. This is a follow-up. Now, we had talked on the last podcast we did about 17 years ago. We brought up the question we always seem to bring up, who votes on these stupid things? And I think it was the NFL Top 100 we were discussing. And of course, we know it's the players. But is there anybody else? Does the media do it? Because most of these lists, Pro Bowls and the AP list and all that stuff, they're done by the media. And I was wondering if the media had any involvement in the NFL Top 100 list. Come to find out, no, they don't. But I did find some interesting information on it. Of course, all the information I found out on it is from 2013. Couldn't find much.
Nothing
If
current.
they've changed any of this, yes. But, okay, all players receive a ballot. All current NFL players receive a ballot to vote on the NFL Top 100. Now, they get this ballot in November, and they have until April to turn it in. So from
Wow,
November
how
to
many
April.
people lose it? But I'd lose it in like the first week.
I know you would too.
Keep it till April? Jesus.
Well, that's the thing. In 2013, only 28% of the players voted.
Wow.
Only 481 players. Now, they do this at the same time. They pass the ballots out at the same time as the Pro Bowl ballots so that they could just do them together. But here's the way it works. Each player can only list his top 20 players in the league. The top ranked player on his list earns 20 points. The second ranked player earns 19 points, and so forth and so on. It goes down the list. And then that's how they do it. Now, the list has one major rule, and that is retired players are not eligible. Even if you played last year, you're not eligible for the top 100 list. Like Eli Manning, he retired in 2019. Or was it 2018? 2018. He could not have been on the 2019 list, even though he had played in the previous season.
Okay.
So you can't, which is kind of messed up because that happens a lot where guys will vote and say, hey, a lot of people probably voted for Eli Manning. Well, maybe not a lot of people, but.
Yeah, I mean, if they get the ballot in November and they turn it in right away
yes.
and don't lose it the first week.
Right. And they say that's an issue they have with it. It's with anything is, you have a good week or whatever. Everybody's like, oh, you're awesome. And so guys would send in the ballots early and say that this person was great. And then they get injured, don't even play for the rest of the year or something like that. So that's one of the reasons why we have such a screwed up list. That's one of the reasons why Levante David is 100th on the list.
I'm happy that he made the list.
Yeah,
Has he ever made it? I don't think so.
That's a good fact check follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyhow, one of the things that I've said about this list, the way they should do it, if they're going to have the players be voting, it should only be the players that have played against these people. Like, you can only vote for the people you've played against. If I'm in the NFC South and I never play against Ben Roethlisberger, I've never played against him, how can I say he's the best? You should only be able to vote for the people that you played against.
I don't know that I really agree with that.
Well, in football, like in any competitive sport that is mano a mano or people playing against each other, it's all about your competition. If you don't have good competition, you could dominate. But
I don't think that you need to compete against somebody to be able to appreciate their talent.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get this as fine-tuned as possible, Make it the perfect list.
Right, yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, yeah.
I get, but that's the fun thing about these lists, and it happens all the time with all the lists. It's one of the reasons why fans like them so much, I think, is because it just gets you irate. You're like, what? Why is my quarterback
reaction?
I mean, they did. They had Tom Brady. I think he was number 8 this year or something.
No, he was like not 12. Even in the top 10.
Wasn't in the top 10. He's the only one that's gotten 3 top number ones.
He deserves it.
He sure does. He deserves everything. He deserves another Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're going to get it. Oh, I did have another fact check that a YouTube commenter left.
Okay.
Which I didn't like the tone of the comment. I'm just going to lay that out there. Shady McCoy was injured last year in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
So we were talking last episode about how he's not that injury prone, but he did miss playoffs with an injury.
Okay.
And then I listened to his press conference the other day, and he said that I guess he got benched like midway through the season in Kansas City. So he didn't play a whole lot.
Yeah, he was basically like he is on our team. He's just kind of there for backup, veteran presence. I'd like to thank our latest Apple rater. Didn't get his name, gave us 5 stars. I do appreciate that. He said, great podcast, stays on sports. Yes, that's what we shoot for here.
That's the goal.
Yes. So we do appreciate that. If you do get a chance, go to Apple and leave us a 5-star review or
just
1-star
5 star.
review.
No, don't leave the 1 star.
No 1 stars.
They hurt my feelings.
She's sensitive.
I am sensitive.
We do appreciate that.
You want to talk about roster moves?
Sure. What you got going on over there?
We waived MJ Stewart from the secondary.
Yeah, man. That really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know when all the deadlines are as far as roster moves because it's kind of a weird year.
Yeah. I can't keep track of anything.
I can't either. I should have looked that up. But he was picked up by the Browns off of waivers.
Oh, well, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So he's got a job.
We had talked about that our starting lineup. And I think I had said I don't think AJ Stewart's going to make it as a starter. Not sure. Going to have to go back and look at that. And if I find out I was wrong, I'm just not going to mention it again. Because I like to act like I know what I'm talking about.
We also reinstated Keyshawn Vaughn from the COVID-19 list.
Keyshawn.
We re-signed wide receiver Jaden Mickens, who I didn't even know we signed him. I don't know who that person is.
Not only did we not know we signed him, we didn't know we re-signed him.
Exactly.
We still don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is.
We probably shouldn't even bother because there's no way he's going to make
It's hard with the receivers, especially the ones on the bubble like that, because we have so much talent at receiver. It's kind of like they're all fighting for 3, 4, and 5.
It's like
6.
our tight end group. I mean, nobody is going to get in that tight end room.
I know. Yeah.
We've got way too many tight ends.
Exactly.
Did we ever find out if we got a new director of analytics? I know last time we talked, the Bucs are only one of 2 teams in the NFL without an analytics staffer.
Yeah, I think we just hired that woman.
We're totally unprepared.
No, I spent a lot of time. You speak for yourself.
You
keep asking questions that you don't know the answer to.
You're not prepared for my questions. How about that?
Now we're a bickering married couple. What everyone wants to hear. I think we did, but we'll do a follow-up on that one.
Okay, write that down. Write it down.
We also waived wide receiver Travis Johnson, who I also did not know was on the team. That was the most recent roster move we've made. And as you alluded to earlier in the podcast, we did have one player opt out, offensive lineman Brad Seaton.
Brad Seaton opt out. He was considered a high risk, so he's getting $350,000.
And good for him. I think it makes sense for him, especially when you're an offensive lineman that's kind of on the bubble. Like, we don't know, is he going to be a practice squad guy? Is he going to be depth? And so it makes sense for him. And then, his contract is put off for a year, so he'll be back next year. Good for him. I mean, how much did you say? 350,000?
350,000.
Nothing to shake not. What's the saying? I can't remember.
Just make one up. Nobody cares.
Not too bad. I mean, I'd be okay with taking a year off and getting paid $350,000.
Take a year off. Yeah. You know, I would have to think about it a little bit.
Would you really?
Yeah. Apparently, there was some stuff going on about racism in the Iowa football program, which that's where our new tackle Tristan Wirfs is from. He has declined to comment on it, but apparently the coach Kirk Ferentz has said some racist stuff, which is so easy to do anymore, So. But Tristan Wirfs has apparently said, I'm not stepping in that pile of dog do, which I don't blame him.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to either. It's just, why get dragged into it? Like, you're not there anymore.
Yeah, move on, man. You're into bigger and better things.
Exactly. You want to talk about Demar?
Yes, that's
all
what I was getting ready to bring
Demar.
up. Demar Dotson. Our previous longest tenured Buccaneer player. He had been with us for, 11 years?
I think so.
It's our right tackle. He was a walk-on right tackle and eventually got the starting role. And he's
got the coolest story. Mark Cook did a really good write-up on him when he left.
Yeah, which I really appreciated.
It was a good piece. It was a really interesting tribute to him. And apparently he played 1 year in college as, I think, a defensive lineman. And he also played basketball in college.
Yeah, he's huge.
So,
he's 6'9", right?
Yeah. 6'9".
6'9". 6 what?
Yeah, just a giant.
Yeah, just a giant of a guy.
And he was a walk-on at the Bucs practice. He had never played offensive tackle. He came with an old pair of basketball shoes.
Didn't somebody have to give him a pair of shoes?
I think so. Yeah, and they didn't have any in his size.
Yeah,
I think the team provided him with a pair of cleats, and the biggest they had was like way too small. So he ended up in the basketball shoes and made the team. And then Shiano made him a starter, and he's been starting at right tackle ever since.
Yeah, so let me see. Shiano did that in 2012, 2013.
12.
12. Okay, so he was our starter for 8 years.
Yeah.
7 years, 8 years. That's awesome.
I know.
Yeah, I really hated to see him leave.
Me too. I mean, it was time. You don't really blame the team for that. I think he's 34-year-old tackle. He's getting there. I mean, he had an okay season last season, right? It wasn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't horrible. He's just the biggest issue with him, I thought, was injuries.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that doesn't get better as they age either.
And he never really got bad injuries, but he was constantly knee, hamstring, stuff like that, which would knock him out for a couple games. Or, a lot of times it was during the game.
Right.
He would leave during the game. But yeah, we're going to miss you, Demar, and he has landed in Denver.
He signed a $3 million contract.
Whoa, really?
It's $400,000 guaranteed, and then it's got incentives.
Oh, okay. So $400,000.
Yeah. And
he never made a lot here when he was with us. I think $1.5 million, $2 million. Again, I'm just winging this stuff.
No idea.
I don't think he ever made more than $2 million a year with us, which was crazy because, he's been playing with us for all these years. He's been a staple in that right tackle position. And then Donovan Smith comes in and gets, what did he get?
Oh, gosh. $12.5 million?
$12.5 million last year. Demar Dotson's got to be going, man, I should have been left tackle.
Right. Yeah. All right, I'm a fact check you right now. I got his contract with the Bucs. It was a $5.5 million average salary.
With Donovan?
No.
Demar?
Yeah, with Demar.
Really? $5.5 million?
Yeah. So his last contract he signed in 2016, it was a 3-year, $16.5 million deal. So, he didn't do so bad.
Oh, no. Dang. I thought it was a lot worse than that. Name off his yearly contracts or what he got every year. Not every year, at least the past few years.
All right. Let me see. Spot Rack changed up their layout. Okay. I can't do it.
Okay.
It's not working.
All right.
I don't know.
Well, if you're really interested in that, go look it up yourself. How about that?
So, Denver, they had their right tackle, Jawan James, opted out. So, Demar would offer depth, and I think he might be able to get a starting job. Per Pewter Report, this is a quote, Elijah Wilkinson was projected to start in James' absence, but Dotson should be expected to supplant him if he can pick up the offensive scheme quickly. So
okay. There you go. Good for you, Demar.
Which that's what he wanted. He wanted a starting job.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. I guess he's not done yet. The BA had a press conference today, Tuesday. And there were some interesting nuggets in there. Actually, I have a whole lot of notes from it.
Lay them on us. What do we got?
Scott Reynolds, this is a good segue, brought
up... If you don't say so yourself.
Brought up that, Tristan Wirfs at right tackle would be going up against Cam Jordan week 1. Oh, yeah.
That's okay. You know what?
Welcome to the NFL, buddy.
The Saints aren't going to have any fans in their stands for week 1. Did you know? Yeah.
That's what I was going to cover with the home opener.
Oh, oops.
So we already talked about that. We don't have to talk about it. So Scott Reynolds asked if Tristan was going to be starting or would it be Joe Haig? Because Joe Haig, you got film on him. And BA said that they'd kind of evaluate that. But if Tristan isn't ready, that they're going to start Joe. Which surprised me.
Why did that surprise you?
I don't hate the decision. Actually, it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's smart. But you draft somebody that high.
Yeah.
And you're not going to start on week 1. I get it's a weird year.
Well, yeah,
so
right.
It makes
yeah,
sense. If he's not going to have a preseason, it makes sense.
Right.
So, right tackle, week 1, up in the air.
Question mark.
Oh, I like this one. I don't know who the reporter was. I didn't recognize her. But she asked which position group we're poised to see the most growth in from last season. And BA answered that we would be at least as good at the quarterback position and probably a little less of the negatives. Which I thought was kind.
Yes, that's being very...
generous.
Yes, very generous.
He also said in the tight end room.
What?
What? You got Gronk.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how they do that because, as all Buccaneer fans know, last year we had 3 great tight ends on our starting roster last year, and we just didn't use them effectively.
That, I think, is the one criticism I have of the coaching staff.
That and the running game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't. Yeah. The running game is just not a priority for them. It's kind of an afterthought. It's always kind of been that way with BA. He's so much into the passing game. And I think it's going to happen again this year. But like I've said, since we got Tom Brady, it doesn't really matter. We don't even need a running back, I don't think. We should just go out there and just throw every down.
Well, Brady likes to check down at the running back, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our running backs are effectively going to be 6th receivers.
Right. Which I don't hate that either. Jenna Lane asked if Tom Brady, or she said that BA had previously said Tom Brady would not be exempt from getting cussed out. So she asked if that had happened yet. And
did she have a tear in her eye when she said that? Was she like, did you cuss out Tom Brady?
Listen to me. And, we do give Gemna a really hard time, but she has not asked a single question about the rest of the team.
It's all about
from what
Tom
I've
with her.
seen. From what I've seen.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm not watching as much as I was, but
well, you pointed out to me that when she had an interview, there was a Zoom interview with the media and Tom Brady last week, and she was all decked out. I mean, she was made up and all this. And then she had an interview with Bruce Arians. Was it the next day?
Yeah, it was a press conference with him.
Press conference on Zoom. And it didn't even look like she took a shower. I mean, it was just, she showed up and it looked like she had just got finished a workout and everything. And Molly just found that hilarious. She was like, oh, look, when she's talking to Tom Brady, it's all.
To be fair, she may have been going on TV after the Tom Brady thing.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
It's just funny.
The appearance.
It's funny. She definitely does give the impression that she's kind of swooning over Tom Brady.
A little bit. Anyway, so back to the question. And for this interview, she was also made up. So maybe that other one wasn't the anomaly. Anyway, she asked if Tom had been cussed out yet at practice. NBA said that he had been because he was throwing the ball during walkthroughs, and they don't throw the ball during walkthroughs. So
Tom Brady can't stop throwing the ball.
I guess. And BA said it was kind of a light one, a light cursing out, but he still got it.
Yeah, he does. Greg Allman had an interesting stat, which he normally does find these interesting stats. If Tom Brady throws 23 touchdowns this year, which that's almost a given that he's going to throw at least that many, he will have more touchdowns as a 43-year-old quarterback than all 43-plus-year-old quarterbacks in the history of the NFL combined.
How many 43-year-old quarterbacks were in the NFL?
Not a whole lot. But George Blanda had 12. Vinny Testaverde had 6. Steve DeBerg had 3. Warren Moon had 1. There's been none in the last decade.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So if Tom Brady gets 23, he just breaks records, man. You know he's going to break it.
At least one.
At least one.
BA said that Mike Edwards had the Rona in the offseason, I guess, so that kind of set him back. Mike Edwards, safety.
Really?
He was a rookie last. I know.
Did not know.
I hadn't heard about that one.
Well, I was looking into the Rona stuff, and we had Keyshawn went on just about our whole running back group, which is funny because all the pictures on them at practice, they're like the only ones wearing masks. So it's very strange how that happened. But
well, the COVID list is if you've come into contact with somebody or if you have it. It's not.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like maybe they came into contact with somebody and it freaked them out. Yeah. So then they were wearing masks all the time.
Or one person in the group tested positive, so they all went into quarantine. Maybe. But, there's a lot of false positives going on with this stuff. I did some research on it, the COVID testing, and it's about 3% positive.
Okay.
False positives. 3% false positives. And this happened to Stafford, the quarterback for Detroit Lions.
Oh, yeah.
And his wife got pissed because, he tested positive, and then all kinds of fallout happened.
Like, they immediately put you on the list.
Yeah.
So everybody knows that you have it.
Right.
And then he gets retested. And
3 times.
And they haven't taken him off the list yet.
Right. And
but she already knows that they don't have it.
Right. And she's getting all this negative response from people. Like when she went out to the grocery store, stuff like that. People, they're like, what are you doing?
She knew that she didn't have it, that Matt didn't have it. And so she resumed her life.
Yeah, she was pissed. She was angry.
Yeah, she said their kids got all kinds of grief. And she got, and she's in a high risk category anyway because she had a brain tumor.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, she had like brain surgery on this tumor. So she's in a super high risk category anyway.
Yeah, so anyhow, you've got a 3% false positive rate with these COVID tests, approximately. And less than 3% of the NFL has tested positive for the COVID. I mean, it's just really strange to me what's going on. It's just, I don't know, things just don't make sense. I mean, it's actually less than 1% of NFL players have tested positive.
I'm surprised with everybody getting together and starting to practice and all that we haven't had any outbreaks yet.
What? Oh, you mean outbreaks in the
in the league? Like we haven't had a team that's just been.
I wouldn't be surprised if they covered it up too. I don't know. There's a lot of money being put on the line here. Yeah, but the NFL has conducted over 109,000 tests of players, coaches, and staff.
Wow.
And only 0.46% have tested positive.
That's crazy. I wonder if that includes the media too, because they're testing media members.
I don't know, probably.
I mean, the NFL
tests, that's a lot of tests.
Yeah, the NFL is doing those tests, but if they're testing people every day,
it adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, Jerry Jones plans on just having a full season. He's not restricting. Well, not right now. He plans to play all their home games with fans this season. He's just like,
Are they limiting capacity though?
I don't think he is.
Those seats are so giant anyway. Right. Those luxury movie theater
Texas.
seats.
All the seats are 6 foot apart.
Is that never mind? I'm not going to say. BA was talking about Tyler Johnson, that wide receiver that we drafted.
Okay.
He's been injured the whole time. It's some kind of soft tissue injury.
Really?
Yeah. So he hasn't practiced at all. So Tyler, you might be on the bubble, buddy.
Yeah. Especially in that wide receiver room, man. You better.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't let nothing get in your way. The NFL is banning all.
Wait, I'm not done with the press conference.
Oh.
I know. I told you there was a lot to it.
Man, that's a lot.
The offense is going to line up with the defense tomorrow against the defense.
This will be the first time Brady's played against our defense.
Yeah. So we'll see who picks them off first. I'm curious. You want to do a wager?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, who do you think?
I'm going to go with my boy.
Jamel Dean.
Jamel Dean.
I knew you were going to pick him. I will pick Sean Murphy Bunting.
Right.
What are we betting?
Dinner.
Is it appropriate?
Not that type of dinner. Yeah, I'll bet you dinner.
All right, I'll treat you to Taco Bell if you. Okay, this is the last one.
What if nobody picks him off?
Somebody's gonna pick him off. It might not be tomorrow, but it'll be eventually.
Okay, gotcha.
Eventually.
First
person to pick him off.
Gotcha.
Okay, this one, Arian said that Scotty Miller is a feisty blocker.
Huh.
Which I'm like, I don't know about. I mean, last season, he did not like contact. I just don't.
We did see a lot of him, but yeah, what we did see, it wasn't a lot of
It was like he was
contact.
scared to get hit.
Yeah.
I mean,
It'd
that
good
would
if he
be
does
great,
like,
though.
Yeah, if he's like a little Edelman.
Right.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe Tom Brady just brings that out of
Edelman,
him.
man, he's vicious out there. He's a good blocker, too.
Mean.
Yeah. He just likes contact. Are you finished with the press conference yet?
Oh, this is the last thing. BA said that teams might be able to pump in crowd noise.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy to me.
Well,
I don't know.
what's better than that than Fox is doing like the virtual crowds?
That's so creepy.
Actually, I saw a clip of it. It looked pretty good to me.
Really?
Yeah. I couldn't tell the difference, right?
I don't like the cardboard cutouts.
No, that's silly.
Weird to me. Yeah, it is silly.
Especially, who pays for them? I mean, that's what they're doing with a lot of these stadiums. Is like, pay $45, you can get a cardboard cutout of yourself.
Of
in a seat.
yourself?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than traveling to the game, though.
But you're not there. That is cheaper, but absolutely none of the benefits.
Jameis 1 of 1 commented on a Saints article, and he said they should be able to pump in noise that's like proportionate to the crowd noise in a regular season. So like if you don't have a lot of fans in there, you don't get to pump in as much crowd noise.
I don't know. See, that's going to be iffy. They're real restrictive on how, as a matter of fact, the sound guys have to cut the sound when the offense snaps the ball, because they'll play music and stuff and get crowds all riled up. But as soon as the offense snaps, they have to stop it immediately.
BA said that there are teams that pump in crowd noise during a regular season. Some have been caught and some have not.
Yeah, I think Atlanta Falcons have been caught a couple times.
Cheaters.
28-3. Oh, that's gonna be so funny. Tom Brady
gosh.
going back and playing.
I know.
Matt Ryan.
I bet Matty Ice has some PTSD.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for the press conference. So you can move along.
Thank you. I appreciate that. NFL has banned live on-field performances of the national anthem.
Why?
You know why.
Come on.
Yep. You see, Tom Brady had the Instagram picture of the Heat in Tampa Bay. It was, I think, 94, and it said, feels like 107. He had that circled.
It is, if you're
so
not
hot.
used to it.
So hot.
We're in Virginia, and the temperature is really similar to Florida, our summer temperatures.
For like 3 weeks.
No.
Yes.
We get similar. And, but the humidity, it's just not even the same thing. It's crazy. I can't handle it.
The Joe Bucks fan and Keem Spence kind of got into it a little bit. August 9th. Joe Bucks had put up a article talking about Akeem Spence not wanting to play, but he was basically saying don't play because Akeem Spence was kind of making a big deal about the COVID stuff and NFL. Well, Akeem Spence came back at the Joes on Twitter with probably one of the hardest to read tweets I've ever read. You really have to decipher it. I mean, he's definitely not an English major. We'll leave it at that. And he brought up Donovan Smith, too, because I guess Akeem and Donovan have been on the same page with the whole COVID stuff. Thankfully, Donovan did not opt out. Well, I do appreciate that, Donovan, staying in there and hanging in for the team. I just found it very funny that Akeem got all pissy with the Joes. And then the Joes had on their podcast some stories about Akeem Spence.
Yeah. They were talking about in a hotel at an away game. One of the Joes saw Akeem leave the hotel and come back with like a trick-or-treat bag size full of candy. And it was like so much candy. He had never seen a grown man with that much candy. That was it. That was the story.
Yeah, that's funny though.
It was a funny story.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to touch on the Washington football team, previously known as the Washington Redskins. Their running back Darius Guice got arrested and they cut him. This was really shocking to me.
What did he get arrested for?
Yeah, I want to say domestic violence.
Huh.
All right, now I got to look it up. Hold on.
I can't believe you didn't have that already in your notes.
Well, it wasn't a part of the story.
Okay. All right.
Is it? This was going to be a real quick blurb.
Oh,
Actually.
that's the one. This one was crazy. I think guys put out an Instagram post that said that him and Jay Gruden, when Jay was there, were having an affair with the same woman in the front office.
I don't think that was Guice. It might have been.
I think it was. And then I think Guice told Jay Gruden's son. It was a mess. It sounded like a lot of drama.
But,
like I understood at that moment why that team was such a cluster.
Well, the reason why I brought it up, Darius Guice was cut immediately. It was domestic violence related incident.
Okay.
So they cut him immediately. He was excused from all team activities. I wanted to bring that up though because he was, we're in Redskins country, and I had never heard of the guy before, but we play fantasy football and got some friends that follow college football, and they were all about Darius Guice, and all this. And he was drafted, I want to say 2 years ago. And I think he's played like 14 downs for the Redskins or something like that.
Wow.
Just not a whole lot, but it was just injury, and now this. And it just goes to show to me, and I pound this home any chance I get, you never know. I mean, the transition from college to the NFL is such a huge leap. It's totally different in every aspect that you can't predict how these guys are going to do. That's why we don't follow college football. It's just never worked out for us. The few times I have followed players, and the only player I could say that I followed that did well was Michael Vick, but he didn't do as well as I expected him to do.
Well, and he was local from our area.
Right. I actually went and watched him play high school football. I mean, it was a big thing. I mean, he was packed. Everybody watched him play. And then when he went to college, he played for Virginia Tech. We went and watched him play there. It was packed. Yeah, he was super. So anyhow, that was a confirmation bias story to show why we don't follow college football.
This is going to be such a weird year for college football.
Oh, yeah.
The way that it impacts the NFL, because
next year is going to be extremely weird.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
First of all, we have the rookies that are coming into the NFL this year, not getting an off season, not getting preseason. It's going to be really hard to evaluate those kids. It's going to be really hard for them to transition, as if it's not already hard enough in a regular year. And then what do? You have all these college programs that are canceling completely for the season, or saying we'll pick back up in the spring. Well, kids are drafted in the spring. Our draft is in the spring.
Right.
So how can you even postpone it?
Yeah, it's going to be so weird.
It's going to be a mess. And a lot of these guys who aren't playing, how good a shape are they going to be in?
Right.
If they do get drafted next year.
And then you got the issue with the revenue. Every year the NFL bases a salary cap on the previous year's revenue stream.
We are going to be so screwed next year.
Yeah, they're predicting that the salary cap is going to drop by about $50 million next year. Yeah, that's going to hurt everybody except for teams like, I don't know, Cleveland, Miami maybe.
I wonder if there's a way to restructure it or something. But that has to do with the CBA, right?
Yes.
Crap.
I know. Have to fight them guys again.
Yeah, so is there going to be another... Can you do like an addendum to the CBA?
They already did.
Modification. Right.
We had talked about Tom Brady's efficiency, his accuracy. Carmen Vitale had put out a tweet the other day saying that BA said if the ball is not where Brady wants it, if the receiver is not where he wants it, it's a nonstop grind every day. And then
what does that mean? He makes them keep going?
He makes them keep going, yeah. And Cameron Braid said if Brady doesn't feel it's exactly where the ball should be placed, if you weren't efficient at the top of your route, you're going to run it again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
they're perfectionists.
Yeah, it's starting to come out how much Tom Brady is, yes, a perfectionist, but his accuracy is very important to him. Hitting these guys in the right spot on the run is important to him. Which it was so amazing to me, and I never noticed it as much in watching the games at how Jameis Winston threw mainly to sitting still targets or targets that weren't moving a whole lot. He did definitely. There was not a lot of the drag routes, crossing routes across the middle where you're hitting guys in stride. We just didn't have. I mean, I think I counted 14 of those all year. It was really crazy. It's amazing the stuff you find out when you really start looking into this game film.
Or when you have a different reference point.
Yeah, right. Because I had never really watched Tom Brady on game film as I have since he's come to the Bucs, and seeing it's just a huge difference. It's just huge in every aspect. Pocket presence, their accuracy, their long ball. The toughness is about the same, but it just the accuracy and the pocket presence is really, really night and day between the two. So that's going to be fun to watch. But it's interesting seeing people coming from training camp saying, yeah, this guy, Tom Brady, he doesn't mess around with the ball not being exactly right.
It's interesting. When we watched, there's a YouTuber called The Quarterback School, yes. And he did
awesome stuff.
He does really good stuff.
Yeah. Best out there.
He was a former NFL player, JT O'Sullivan.
Yes.
And he breaks down quarterbacks, and he broke down Colin Kaepernick's
that was great one.
Tape. Yeah, this is where I learned about how important consistency is for a quarterback. He broke down Colin Kaepernick's film from that workout he put out in Atlanta. And JT, his analysis was that, Kaepernick isn't going to make it in the NFL because he's too inconsistent. Like, his footwork is inconsistent. And so it's interesting what you brought up with Tom Brady going through these repetitions again and again and again, because that's what good quarterbacks do.
Mm-hmm. It's all about consistency.
Is super important.
Yep. Okay, so touching base back with the Hard Knocks. Yes, there was one Tuesday.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and
that is the first time I think we've missed one.
I know. How did we miss that? How did we not know it was coming? It's just been such a screwy year this year. It's the Los Angeles. What are they? The Chargers now. The Rams.
The Chargers and the Rams, right? They're doing both.
Rams, yes.
That's what I thought. That's what I said earlier, but I called the Chargers San Diego, which I will always do. I'll never not do that. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Chargers.
It's like the Raiders. They're Oakland Raiders. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't like change.
I still call them the Baltimore Colts.
You hush your mouth. That is okay. Oh, BA was named the 2020 champion for equality by Billie Jean King and the Women's Sports Foundation.
All right. That'll get us the Super Bowl. It's coming.
He likes to be like a kind of an advocate for
he's huge on it.
Yeah. And we talked about this, the Saints announced a home opener will be played without fans, which is great for us.
I know.
It's awesome.
It's going to be so weird, man.
But it is going to be sad that all those Saints fans won't get to see them lose in person to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
That's hilarious.
I was just thinking we give Jenna a hard time about only talking about Tom Brady, but I'm pretty sure that's all that we've talked about all offseason.
Yeah, well, I've got a man crush on him. I ain't gonna lie. I don't try to hide it, though.
The NFLPA put out a tweet that they reached an agreement with the NFL to continue daily testing for COVID through September 5th. They will continue to monitor positivity rates within each club and relevant information from each team community to inform our assessment of testing frequency ahead of the regular season.
Yeah, it looks like we might have a season, man. Looks like it might happen.
What?
It's going to be weird,
I know.
but
It's
coming. It's coming. I could kind of feel it. I could kind of feel it in
Yeah, I do
there.
too.
And it is
I
so
can feel
weird. We always say this. If you've watched this podcast over the years, we always say our season starts when Hard Knocks shows.
Mm-hmm.
And we missed it. So that's just weird. It's just
I
how
know.
weird this season has been this year. Speaking of weird, XFL is back in the news. It's back on the table. Apparently, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, has bought the XFL franchise and plans on starting it back up.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
He's a football guy. Like, didn't he play in college? I think,
Yeah.
and then he did that show
Yeah,
Ballers on HBO where he played an agent for football players.
Yes, and
We
I want
watched
to
that a
say
couple
he
years.
was he had a walk-on opportunity on an NFL team.
Was it the
forget again.
Dolphins? Because they show in the show Ballers,
Yeah,
they
they
show
show
his film
Yeah.
in the intro.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do a fact check and follow up on that one, unless you want to do a Google on it right now.
The Google.
But that's awesome. I liked the XFL. I thought it was doing really.
Did you
really
watch
well.
it? I didn't watch it.
It was doing really well, and then the COVID stuff hit. It was just bad luck for them.
Yeah.
And I loved them when they were around back in, God, when was that? 2000s, 2003, something like that. Early 2000s. He hate me. That was, everybody knew that. Everybody had that phrase. He hate me. It was fun. It was fun. And they did a lot of innovative stuff this year. One of the things was the skybox refs and the having people, the broadcast, have the audio of the referees talking to each other. I thought that was awesome. So that, it helps the fans understand how they come to these conclusions.
Yeah, what they're looking at.
Yeah, and even helps with the rules because unless you've been watching the NFL for 20 years, it's a confusing game. It's extremely confusing. All these rules they've got, especially now, it's hard to follow. Somebody who's just getting into the NFL, it's kind of difficult. So stuff like that helps increase the fan base, if you ask me. And you know us, we're all about increasing the fan base, especially for the Buccaneers. What up?
Okay. Dwayne Johnson was a college football player,
Played for the Badgers?
University of Miami.
I was way off there.
Who are the Badgers?
I
I don't even know.
if it's a real team. If it's not, it should be. The Honey Badgers.
No.
There's got to be a college football team.
I
Named
think
the
there
Honey
is.
Badgers or the
No.
Badgers.
I think the Badgers. I don't know.
If there isn't, they need to get one.
Okay.
Honey Badgers are awesome.
He was a college football player for the University of Miami, and they won a national championship in 1991. I was 3. And then he entered the 1995 NFL draft, but went undrafted, and so he signed in the CFL for the Calgary Stampeders,
Okay.
but was cut from the team in the middle of his first season. And then he went into wrestling.
Which is funny, his parents were wrestlers, so you'd think he would have went into wrestling first.
Right.
It's obviously
I
done
don't know,
very
like
well.
exhaust your options,
Yeah. But it wasn't just Dwayne Johnson. I mean, he didn't buy it outright. It was $15 million.
Yeah, he's one of the.
Which
owners.
shocked the mess out of me that it was only $15 million. I was like,
We should have. I
put it in.
know.
Sold one of our summer homes. But it was a group of people, but it included Dwayne Johnson. Which you get the impression with Dwayne Johnson that, pretty much anything he does, he's going to just go at it,
Yeah.
as hard as he can.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of failures, especially some of his movies, but he's got a lot of great stuff, and he's just constantly doing stuff. He just seems like the type of person that's always involved in stuff and always going at it 110%.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it in the football world.
Right.
110%. We don't care about math around here.
Mm-mm.
It's about passion.
Forget your math.
Nerd.
Oh, so per Greg Allman, the NFL Referees Association announced that it negotiated terms for the season. And, okay, this is an old tweet.
Yeah.
So I think that I know.
Yeah, that's way off.
I think they've already had the deadline to opt out.
Yeah.
But they will get a $30,000 payment if they choose. And they also get to return in 2021 if they defer. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope, that's going to do it for us. If you want to get in touch with us, the best way to do it is probably, comment, YouTube's. Molly does all the social media stuff. So if you get a comment reply, it's usually from her. If you get one from me, that means we're probably going to be fighting. Because that's about all I do.
Keyboard warrior.
I'm a keyboard warrior, 100%, man. That's why she does the social media. You can reach us on Twitter. Our handle is @Bucks_observer. And we don't forget to check out our website, BuccaneersObserver.com. Not a whole lot going on there. We haven't done a whole lot there for, really since we switched this podcast over to the new host. So it's been almost a year maybe. But there's stuff there.
You can check out our older stuff.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for us. Till next time.
Go Bucks.